Hello, Curran here. I'm here to tell you about VizHub 2.0, which is going to be the craziest thing since sliced bread. This here is VizHub 1.0, which works pretty well. You can edit code in here using ES6 modules, and I've embedded these lecture videos into here and used this platform to deliver my online data visualization course through WPI. And this is one of the examples where we built this interactive map where you can click on the color legend and filter what's shown. The current version of VizHub is not quite there yet. It's not what I want it to be. I'd say it's about halfway there. I'd like VizHub 2.0 to support the following personas: the student, the teacher, and also teams. Or if you're a freelancer, you'd have to wear all of these hats, so to speak. The manager, the admin, the designer, the engineer, and the client. The overall idea is that VizHub can be a tool that's there with you throughout your whole career development, from basically learning how to code, to developing your first visualizations, to working on a team who produces visualizations all the time. For example, a design consultancy or a newsroom. The student would do things like study visualizations and lectures, fork and modify visualizations as part of their homework assignment, present visualizations to the class and submit them as their homework assignment, explore what others have done, and experiment. The teacher would record lecture videos while live coding inside of VizHub and present these visualizations and the lecture videos to students. The teacher would also organize content into collections. For example, a string of visualizations as it's being developed as part of a lecture. And the teacher would also give feedback on student work, and this part is critical. In a team context, the manager would review work done by the team, leave feedback comments, participate in discussion threads, organize collections, probably to show to the client, and share the visualizations themselves with the client. The designer would review work by the engineer and also make tweaks to the visual design by changing values like colors and numbers using the visual editor. The designer would also leave feedback comments and participate in discussions on visualizations. The engineer would develop software in the platform inside of VizHub and also import and export work in and out of the platform, like GitHub, for example. The engineer would also present work to the team, receive feedback from the team, and participate in discussion threads. The client would review the visualizations delivered by the team and leave feedback on them. The client would also want to embed visualizations in web pages and also export work out of VizHub for downstream workflows, for example, integration into an existing product. So those are our user personas that we're going to use to develop VizHub 2.0, the features that it needs to have. Some scenarios for these personas are an online course, mentorship, like one-on-one mentorship, consulting or freelancing, subcontracting, and journalism. These are the features of VizHub 2.0 that I'm planning to develop. A code editor, IDE, that would be useful for students, teachers, and engineers. The code editor should support ES6 modules for downstream workflows. A visual editor that would let non-engineer people like the designer, the client, and the manager make minor modifications to visualizations using just a visual UI drag and drop kind of a thing. A presentation mode for showcasing visualizations, the ability to fork existing visualizations to create new visualizations that are your own. Discussions similar to GitHub issues or YouTube comments. Real-time collaboration, which would allow remote pair programming. Exporting visualizations, embedding visualizations in existing web pages. A metric of popularity like stars or likes. Collections for organizing groups of visualizations. Private works for commercial activities, and also teams. So these are the core features that VizHub 2.0 is going to have, and who's going to use them. You may be thinking, why would you develop yet another browser-based IDE? Don't they already exist? Like, what's different about your thing, this VizHub thing? Well, let me tell you what's different about it. I surveyed these tools and I've tried to use them. In fact, I did use Blocks and Block Builder to teach one of my online courses one year, and I also used JSBin to teach once. And the problem with these is that they don't quite have the right blend of features to support all of the user personas that I want to support. This table here shows existing tools on the market today and the features that they have or don't have. And to me, there's not one single tool that has all the features that I'm looking for, that I want to use. So this is why I'm creating something new, VizHub 2.0. Armed with these personas and scenarios, I hired Stamen Design to help me with the UI visual design. So this is what we came up with, working together for 1 week in May 2019. And this is what I plan to implement for VizHub 2.0. This is what you would see on the home page. From here, you could sign in via GitHub authentication like this. And then once you're logged in, you would be able to create a visualization by forking an existing template. You'd be able to rename it and choose which team it would go to. Then when you click Save, it would create that fork. This is what the visualization view page would look like. It has the title. You could upvote or downvote. And downvoting, I know, is a little controversial, but I want to support constructive criticism. So when you hit the downvote, it would say something like, leave some constructive criticism, like why do you think it's bad? This page also shows last edited, forked from, whatever it's forked from, and a link to the associated lecture video, a description. And then down here, there would be a comments section where you could leave a comments, and the comments would be interspersed with events related to this visualization, like who forked it, or pull requests in the future when that's implemented. So you could just view comments, just view events, or view them all interspersed. So it'd be more like a generic timeline, which starts at when you forked this viz from another viz. And by the way, in VizHub, the only way to create a visualization is to fork an existing visualization. So they all lead back to one primordial viz, the first one. And this here is actually what the tree of visualizations looks like so far in VizHub 1.0. This is just a rough first pass at the visualization. Here's a second pass at that visualization, including the thumbnails, and which happened inside VizHub, by the way. And here's a third pass at that visualization, allowing you to zoom out and see the context of every visualization inside of VizHub in terms of its ancestors leading back to the primordial visualization. So this is the actual content in VizHub 1.0, and it's really interesting to navigate and see how visualizations evolve through this fork and modify approach. So I think this is super cool, and I would love to find a way to incorporate this into VizHub 2.0 as a means to navigate the content, sort of like a map. So back to the prototype mockup, maybe this is where you could enter into that map. But anyway, this is just the visualization presentation page, but you can open the editor. And what you could do first is check out the visual editor, where you could do things like modify the color of the bars and the axes, or open up some files and do your code development in here. And down here is where you could do things like change the height or the background color or the privacy, or add, remove collaborators, make a new file, new directory, export the code, or delete the visualization. This revamped editor has a couple new states, like you could just focus on the code and then open the visualization in another browser window, and with the real-time synchronization, it would update as you change the code. There's also another view like this, where you can change the code and then see the preview happen right there. And you can navigate smoothly between all these views, and there's also a full screen presentation mode. And if this were part of a collection, you'd be able to step forward and backwards, sort of like a slideshow. So those are the high-fidelity mockups, clickable prototype from Stamen Design. I'm so thrilled with this. I love it, and now I just can't wait to implement it. What this Kickstarter is really about is sort of prototyping the business, seeing if it can work. Will people support this initiative? This is kind of what the pricing table would look like. There's going to be a free plan where you get most of the features and your content will be open source under the MIT license. There will be a pro plan where you're going to have private stuff and white label embedding, meaning embedding things into your page that doesn't have any VizHub branding at all. It's just your own brand. Then there's going to be a teams tier where you could have private organizations and teams. And then there's going to be an enterprise tier where you can do self-hosting and you'll get dedicated technical support. I'm a huge fan of Scrum. It's a way of organizing your work and interacting with potential users of the product to get feedback and act on that feedback and develop a great product in less time than it would take with the waterfall method. But anyway, if you back this Kickstarter, you will become a beta tester. And so you'll be embedded into the Scrum workflow. I'm going to release a newsletter every sprint, which might be every week or every 2 weeks, detailing what has been done in that sprint. And then you as the beta tester can use it and then give me feedback on the forum that I'm going to set up, a discourse instance, exclusive to backers with the Kickstarter. And I'll use that feedback to inform prioritization of what to do next. What's the most important thing? What are the pain points to address first? So as a beta tester, you'll be directly involved in evolving the product as it's being developed. At $5, you can become a beta tester and get access to what will be the free tier of VizHub. At $50, you'll be a beta tester with access to what will be the pro features of VizHub. At $500, you can support this VizHub initiative as an organization, and you will get the Teams version of VizHub. By pledging $5,000, you'll get access to VizHub Enterprise. And by the way, all of these rewards so far are a 5-year subscription. If this Kickstarter succeeds, I'll have enough cash to burn so that I can work on this thing full time until it's done. Otherwise, I might run out of money. So, thanks for supporting. Thanks for watching. Take care.